You're leading the NFL in receiving yards. Here's a good example of it. Just a subtle movement, fuels leverage. That's good against good. Nakua against Witherspoon. Who's going to win that matchup? Just enough separation. And how about the...
I mean, one-on-one, I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you, I'm taller than you, and guess what?
Bottom line is when this guy is one-on-one, Dak Prescott is going to throw it to him. There is no better target, especially down the field, when he gets running.
Try to stop it. In fact, they use Leonard Williams to drop to try to get into that throwing lane. You see him there.
What a route. It's going to be a deep comeback. Everyone's run up, make him feel you going deep, and just a deep out cut.
And a first down.
I like what Jalen Waddle did here, looking like he's going to cross the field, and he kind of puts DJ.
First down to the Chiefs, 44. And on the play, he's working on Watson.
Pass rush any better. Stephon Diggs and these crossing routes are going to wear them out. No defense can hold up to this amount of time in the pocket with those crossers because...
My night, he's had a little bit of a quiet year, dealing with some injuries, working against one of the premier corners.
Back receivers, Reed and Dobbs, a switch release. Gardner Johnson gets caught in the tailpipe. And then Willis drops it.
You can't release any better than this. Sanders still's playing outside leverage. Devontae Smith knows, all right, I got outside leverage. I'm going to throw.
And DJ Moore on the in cut on Hobbs. As Dan Marino used to say, you can't go.
Brilliant. And Kyle Williams, you hit on it. How about a guy averaging 28.5 yards a catch?
Watch this route by Barner. Typically when you run this route, you work to the inside. He sets it up and then goes to the outside. See the safety there? That was Cam Kitchens. Completely fooled with that route.
It's an RPO, so he's going to put the ball in the belly and then an in-breaking route. Why do you do that? Because when you...
McLaurin, that is his first contested catch since Mariota has taken over and over his career. Not the biggest guy, but when you...
DJ Moore on the full field post. Off play action. Nixon, and absolutely...
You can make at the quarterback position. He's moving up in the pocket, up and right, buying a little extra time. That is a tight window, high and away.
Coverage, and one of the throws that Jordan Love consistently makes are these out cuts.
Just creating a little bit of space, creating that matchup. Now he's got the matchup that he wants. We saw this last week. How about the hands?
One-on-one matchup, which he gets with Dobbs on Stevenson. It's actually a good throw, but just
54 seconds.
Now watch this. You know where Stafford wants to go on third down. Look at their bracketing him, but look at 21 Witherspoon. Good job of keeping eye, plastering, not giving him a chance to throw the ball.
Receivers downfield. This is not something you see once or twice a game. This is all game.
This is the second time you get one-on-one down here on the edge. Tampa Bay bringing pressure, and there's Coker top of that. So little snag underneath. That's Jalen Coker, and then there it is. And then get to the outside. So watch him create as he runs in a little bit, then create space to the corner. Beautifully thrown.
Well, that's what you're going to get with T. Higgins in the game, and you see this every single time he's in there. And Joe Burrow.
In the route down the field, and Van Noy had to just try to fight his way through that here. Watch this little stiff arm right there, keep his distance, and
This route is outstanding. He's got an option route. He can go either way. And you see the move that he's able to make. I mean, that's about as good as it gets.
Outside and sneaks back underneath right here and just beats Lonnie Johnson right there, who's looking in at the quarterback and gets open.
Jetson still without Charvarius Ward.
Well, Kittle, he was the one who was in motion. It looked like he started up the field before the ball was snapped.
Going to make this throw, but watch how quickly he drives down, and watch how right there he's able to just change direction. And with those long arms, he's able to...
Killed the Bears in the first game. Here it's to Dobbs, right in stride. DJ Moore, go up here on the top shelf. Valentine in coverage. It's called an in-cut, indigo, loud pressure. No help, miscommunication. Nixon thinks he has
just so much time. He's trying to get the little stick and go up the middle. Bobby Wagner carries it, and just so much time there. Ibn he's a safety, kind of a...
Let's take another. He's come up and in, back out. Right there. Slick turf. Defenders are all.
Because I think that allows him to be aligned with JSN and kind of uses him almost as just like
Bullard is just too good in coverage for a tight end. His quickness is just unmatched. I love Bullard.
Hard time getting him the ball out wide, so he puts him into the backfield and gets him matched up against Josh Wallace, the slot, who had to try to follow him.
By bringing the tight end to the flat. So you're going to see the tight end come out here to the flat. That draws Watson or just gets him to hesitate a little bit.
Slot right here, one-on-one with McMillan. Look at his eyes back the whole time. That is just
nice route. Jaden Reed ends up working on Kevin Byard, the safety. Goes in, and then a sail concept back to the outside.
Throwing the ball away. It looks like McKinstry. That's interesting coverage by McKinstry. He's got Satan run. Even the Jets said that. Olave in the slot. There's nobody near him. Malachi Moore was totally locked in on the. Yeah, I love it. So typically you're going to get inside technique, which Cam Hart's inside. He's going to take away the slant, which is commonly what you would think on somebody that can match up with these receivers. And even Trayvon Diggs, who's out there on Keenan Allen. What do they say? Third down and what? It's third and Keenan. Third and
pressure. Coker right here in the slot, just trying to run down the seam, and really nice.
He is their big size receiver. They're down the field threat, but could not have thrown this ball in.
Center roll McMillan.
Yeah, Benjamin Morris right here. Watch the hands. Good stab. Eyes back to the quarterback.
Smooth on these outbreaking routes. Watch Olave. Comes out. I mean, he's just silky smooth.
Watch the leverage by Riley Moss. He's going to aim to the outside, and just that quick inside move by Parker Washington. I mean,
And we just talked about the one-on-one coverage. Cousins trying to go to the back shoulder of London.
I couldn't quite see. Is that Marshall? Jason Marshall, he's tasked with the outside leverage, but he's expecting
against two defenders. He picks up 36.
This is the danger in this kind of a double, an in-out double, and you get a good
whole way. And not a lot of people throw at Christian Gonzalez. I think if I were going to do it, I'd do
with it with Houston, and they want to jump it up. Look at Nico Collins. Goes up over the top of Darian Poe. Goes against every instinct of a Pete Carroll coach football team. But desperate times make for desperate calls.
Potentially ended this game. With these two cornerbacks, Christian Gonzalez in the coverage here, along with Carlton Davis on the other side. But those two guys, when they're
with these reverses and counter type plays, trying to get him to take one false step and then get wide on him.
And we saw
Ashton Jason in the hip pocket of the receiver. He was in his hip pocket, front pocket, you name it.
The move that he makes on Upton Stout, you can see Stout's playing a man-to-man, and he starts as if he's going to go across the field, comes out of it. There's just nobody then out there playing man on the outside. And the amount of space that's windows, and that's the passing game for the 49ers.
5 targets, 5 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown for George Kittle. And Purdy has started 11 of 14 on first down. Another completion, and now
a good throw right there. Watch the back shoulder action to Austin Hooper, who's at least 6'4", 6'5", just back shoulder perfectly.
And playing man coverage, and Phillip Rivers was dissecting that. So now on 3rd and long, they go to zone coverage. And
well, and Diggs is one of those guys that is just so good. One of the leading contested catch guys in the National Football League. He is just hyper competitive. I'm a big fan of Drake May, right? I mean, let me just say that right off the bat. But he has hung about 3 balls so far in this game inside, and if
this is outstanding. This ball's in the air before he turns his head, and it's just
4th down conversion, goes for a touchdown. Raymond ran away from Samuel.
This is why I talk about
he knows exactly what's coming, and he still can't get there. He broke before Diggs did.
He's kind of their intermediate deep guy. You know, he's a guy who can run really good routes as he does here, and he creates Jermaine Pratt. Well, he gets pressure. Dominic Pooney, the right guard, gets pushed right back into Brock Purdy's lap, so he's not able to really follow through on the throw. This ball kind of hangs on him a little bit, but they've got split safety, so that's the right place to go with the ball. Kittle comes back and makes a big play on the ball.
He missed 5 games.
Ravens right now, 6-man front up here to start this game, basically daring Lamar Jackson to throw the ball. No problem, says Lamar, and off to a hot start. You think he's on his last legs and whether he can do anything, and it was D-Hop.
Between C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. Darian Porter is underneath this route. Palomar is coming over the top, and he fits this ball right in between both of these guys. And look at the effort by Nico Collins.
At least 15, 20 steps in this dance by Lamar Jackson. Watch all these little baby steps moving around. Finally, he sees across the field his main target.
Down of the year is 9th overall.
And the underrated part of Ashton Genty's game, his ability to catch it out of the backfield. Came into this weekend 7th among all running backs in the NFL. In
Flowers, some lightning quick moves. I asked him when we met with him whether or not when he was playing tag as a kid if he ever got tagged.
Offense will stay on the field.
This is just Raymond using that exception out of the middle of the field, and he comes down. This one was probably that's just a great play by Clark. You can't blame him for not getting a pick here. It's just a wonderful job of getting his hands on the ball. Porter today, but he's going to stumble. Williams right there. Off trying to
Geno Smith. Because Derek Stingley Jr., you're going to see him coming. He tries to undercut the route, and he puts enough air.
I thought the ball was going to be on the outside, but he adjusts. It's to the inside is where it was thrown. Diamador Lenore, he's got his back to the ball, doesn't see it.
But this tackle in open field tells you exactly what you're getting out of Jalen Petrie down in and down out.
Instead, from 9 yards out.
Well, you're going to see Zaire Franklin, and I think he's the one who blew coverage. He's got to continue to play that flat coverage. You got the corner.
Career. And look at him laying out for this one. Remember, you had outlined it earlier, Andrew. He missed a couple of ball games with an injured thumb, and he's made his way.
And he's just not going to get many more possessions or opportunities, and so now this is a ball he's just trying to fit in on the outside. The corner, Luter, he comes off of it, and he's there to make a play at the end of it. And if Rivers sees that Luter's keep an eye here on Jair Brown, the safety, and Alec Pierce, when he gets up the field, the move that he puts on him, Rivers knows he's got a free play, but it's the move at the top of that route by Alec Pierce that gets Jair Brown out of position and a chance then to make the play. Joe, last week,
just the 6th for the 49ers results in a score.
Watch Tyler Warren as he comes off the ball. This is on him. He telegraphs it. He turns his head before he's at the top of his route. And this is why the little things matter. When he's turning his head and he's not yet gotten to the top of his route, D. Winters is not threatened whatsoever.
Have been targeted 93 times this year.
Yeah, targeted 93 times, but he's played 569 cover snaps coming into this game. And Patch is just an angle route going to the outside. PJ Locke, number 6, is in coverage. It's inside coverage. Look at the location by Trevor Lawrence. There's Troy Flanker right here going to the inside, back to the outside. There's still an opportunity for Antonio Johnson. I thought he played just a really good job, just kind of finding that soft spot right there in between the two.
At another level. Now this would have been an incredible interception. He just gets in that throwing window.
A lot better, but this is one-on-one, and just great defense by Jarian Jones. You can see right there, he's got his head back looking for the football.
Watch McBride off the ball, hesitates, then releases up to space. It's a tight window, but he's got to make that catch. He has Watts bearing down on him. This pit starts all the way outside. He's going to motion down, come across the field, and there's really no one to pick it up because of all the traffic that the Cardinals defense has to run through. A 6'3" frame. Terrell's got his body turned, really doesn't react back to it, just goes right through his hands.
The chemistry they've built. Watch this. Watch the trust he has in Parker Washington. You tell me if that is not tight coverage in a...
To Juju Smith-Schuster out to the outside, but Baker, watch as he uses that left arm, wraps around and knocks it away.
It's just hard to defend. There he is coming out of that slot area in the middle. Jordan Lewis playing inside leverage. He's got really, really lucky because Patrick Surtain falls down. This was going to be one of the things we saw with Jacoby Myers early, right? Surtain underneath, P.J. Locke over the top.
And the motion, along with the formation, helps to soften the coverage. Watch as London just works against the leverage. He's got all that space. The ball's thrown on time to the outside for the easy completion.
Yeah, this is one of those matchups that they've got to get under wraps quickly. Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix really start the easy, route designs right here. You're going to have a little bit of an outside release and a fly that drags Patrick Surtain out of that spot.
And just the interior part of this line has just been solid all day, not allowing much pressure at all. We did just mention Chris Jones a little while ago.
And this is the difference when Marvin Harrison Jr. is in this offense. He can help take the top off of a defense. In this case, double covered. Xavier Watts, the safety, not quite as deep. The question is, did the ball hit the ground before it bounces onto Michael Wilson's chest? I think this is a catch.
I think
there is no other help. If Pitts breaks this tackle, it's off to the races. Kyle Pitts picking up from where he
pounds. Well, he's trying to give Waddle a one-on-one chance, but you can't play this any better.
This is just an out route. You're going to see an out route here. You've got to expand. You've got to take that away. But as I said, this secondary, a lot of these guys haven't even been here for very long.
He's a rookie, fourth-round pick, as we mentioned, out of Stanford.
Well, the Titans had mentioned they wanted to move Cam Ward around. They don't want him to. Seeing that Ward is struggling in the pocket. Let's see, 1, 2.
Brown is going to be in the slot number 30. And watch Brooks. He goes to the outside shoulder. Brown has the awareness.
Well, good awareness in the pocket, stepping up, and to give the appearance that he was going to take off and run. Nice one-handed catch by Hollywood Brown. Well, he'll come in from the safety position. You'll see him come in and he swipes at the ball with that left arm and lands on the left side.
It's good to see Ewers look Waller's direction early in this game. Remember, he started out with a bang in weeks 4.
Really been a point of emphasis for this team in the passing game is Okonkwo and Helm, the two tight ends. They utilize them as much as anyone. And
well, this time you see Jamar Chase playing in the slot, and he's played in the slot a career high this year. And one thing I thought Baltimore really did well last week.
Pickup of 8.
Really an easy read for Burrow. And you see the Dolphins, they try to disguise it, but look how deep the linebackers are.
Cortland Sutton is at the end of the line on the right. Watch. He is running past everybody right now. It's a little bit late out, and it's a little bit short. Let's give Monteric Brown a ton of credit because the underthrown deep ball, there's such an opportunity.
But Quinn Johnson is just too fast once he puts his foot in the ground. If you locate that ball correctly, like
with Dallas.
And this is one where you hold your breath a little bit because Quinn Johnson, obviously, they're down the field threat. He's got to step on him. And you're going up against one of the backup
safety. Top of your screen, you'll see Mitchell go out breaking and Sankers all over him. That is beautiful. Really grooved that one. They actually did a nice job with the protection. He had plenty of time, did not set his feet. I don't think he saw Sanker at all, and he threw it right to him.
Baker Mayfield just taking advantage of the middle of the football field. Everything is open as they're dropping back in zone, making sure they protect high to low.
Been able to get open. His first catch of the game.
Well, Ibuka is just coming through the middle of the football field, and you look at 8. I tell you, stand strong in the pocket, one-on-one on the outside with Morrison, and you can see back shoulder on a roll.
Minnesota first down at a gain of 22. What a catch. Now let's see if he actually maintained possession. He's dragging that left foot for sure. That's a completion.
Now here's Coker. Let's check out the coverage. That's Parrish on him, keeping that outside leverage. Get that covered, and then that's just called plaster. Once he gets going.
And you're watching Wan'Dale. He reads this. Jackson Dart reads it as well, but Jackson Dart needs to throw a better ball. You can't lob this up because Byron Murphy, Isaiah Rodgers, he's coming over.
So Dallas is playing man-to-man coverage again. Logan Wilson actually triggered on a pressure. So what does that do? It leaves you with nobody in the middle of the field except for the deep safety.
Down and away, so you don't have to worry about tips and overthrows. Just an in-cutting route. But watch him keep this down low. That's on purpose.
Quincy Williams was in a trail position. Then Moore comes in. I don't know why these guys. Diggers guy is a guy. I mean, he had good coverage last week. You see, he's right there. The ball comes. Olave gets his hand on it, but Stiggers rips it out. Did that to Brian Thomas last week as well. That is perfect coverage. Sticky. Hold it. Watch this frozen rope. Top of your screen, in-breaking route, and when Chuck.
Flat foot read right here. You're just reading this thing. You know inside the numbers. Mike Evans runs.
Going up against his former teammate at LSU, Cordell Flott.
I'm watching both feet right down, left down.
That's what this. It looks like they clear this thing out, and then you're going to get basically McConkey coming down the sideline on a wheel route. So you occupy safety.
In the area.
Tight windows down here in the red zone.
And up because of this stack formation put Mike Evans on the inside, just a little hitch there.
This is one of the things you really like about Chuck. This is well done. This is just perfect timing.
Bully any offensive lineman one-on-one. J.J. McCarthy actually throws a very nice ball. Oh, Jordan.
Then just working, you can get better matchups on safeties, better matchups on linebackers in zone, working him inside as opposed to
an in cut, running on Nixon, and he breaks it down. It's right in his hands.
Here's the touchdown, Al. What a job by Darnold with a nice play fake, and a good job of separating by JSN. No receptions.
At least I have a little familiarity with you, Debo. I'm just going to throw it to you in man coverage against one of the better slot corners in the...
Mixing up some different personnel groups on this drive and gone with one back and two tight ends at 12 look. And boy, that...
See, Watson, who's become a little bit more of a route runner. We always think of him as a vertical
start. What a first half. Forces the opening kickoff fumble and has now made his presence felt a couple times. This is what Washington's deep.
A lot of credit for being patient before he delays and comes out. Just wait. Got completely lost by coverage.
Right now, Kevin Petula, he's just so comfortable keeping Jalen Hurts in the gun, in the spud. They can move the quarterback off his spot. So they play a lot of zone coverage, Joe, but it actually plays like man.
No punt team yet.
Yeah, early in the season, Sainristil, he was playing more inside slot defensive back due to some injuries.
Watch him drop into this lane on this crosser. He's got to wait for him to clear. Not now, but right there. Nobody throws that ball better than Matthew Stafford. That in-breaking big route.
In base coverage, so you got Frankie Louvu. He's playing one slot side. He's got Jordan McGee, linebacker. He's playing one-on-one here against Jonathan Jones. A.J. Brown, he's a slant, hitch, go ball. Those three concepts.
Watch the right foot just toe tap. Gets the left one down, the right toe tap right there. And who better than Cooper Kupp? Arnold gets away from it. And this is Jackson Smith and Jigba. Great footwork, great awareness. Kind of slowed down, throttled down before he got close to the sideline and gave his quarterback a great target to be able to make that throw.
Bullard's just right over the top of DJ. DJ's kind of like, he's not throwing. Oh, God, he is throwing.
Watch the safety come down. Here's the route. He gets a mismatch against a linebacker. See the safety down, taking Nakua away, and you get able to get away from Drake Thomas with Terrence Ferguson, the rookie out of Oregon. Catches Sam Darnold off guard. Watch how Wallace comes off of it, sinks, playing zone, reading the eyes of Darnold, and then steps in front. Perfectly coached. And a great job there by 30, right on cue, as you said.
Line up inside, outside, block, doesn't matter. Contested catches, you name it.
And there's the late motion again to create the space for the inside cut right there. Nice throw, goes up and over the linebacker, Ernest Jones. And like you say, Al, he's not only...
Just reading his eyes, you see him at the top of the screen. He's got love, and that ball's got to come out a tick fast.
Not real sure if he had help. That's Devin Witherspoon, who wasn't real. I think he thought he had a safety coming over to second catch of the night. We talked about at the outset. There's going to have to be other guys going to have to step up in 15, who Mike LaFleur.
Here it is again.
And look at that. He couldn't even get anything. The fact he somehow got that ball thrown that far and that accurately. His eyes to be able to move 53 Landman just far enough outside to open that back up. Well, Chris Shula did it earlier where they showed man and dropped into zone, and Wallace came up with a pick. Here's zone pressure. They blitz the backer and drop of all guys, Kobe Turner, one of their best pass rushers. That's allowed Mumfield to kind of come back, go up. Job never sees the football until it's too late. The ball got in there, but it came out. Job, to his credit, got that left hand in there to be able to knock that away from him. Good effort there by the rookie out of Pitt. Well, third down, we talked about Devontae Adams out. Chances are you're going to go to Puka Nacua. They're bracketing him. They're trying to get the safety over to help. Eamon Warren doesn't
see. Little something to get excited about there for the Cleveland Browns.
That win was absolutely whipping. Watson one-on-one with Edwards, and you see as the ball comes out of his hands, it kind of rips to the right.
Know who's going to be the guy week in and week out. No, and when you're running the ball that well, the play action works that much better. He was out of bounds. You know what else he doesn't feel, Ian? Apparently hunger, because we found out yesterday that he does not eat before 1 o'clock games.
Doesn't eat.
Food, just a fast twitch, caffeine. Oh, wait a second.